clap twice. Thank you guys very much. I'm Don Phipps, the superintendent of the Caldwell County Schools, and it's my honor to welcome you here today. This is the first time event that, if it goes well, we're probably going to do every year. And we may choose to keep it at this size, and we may try to get a little bit bigger. But the idea today is to let you be in groups of 7 or 8. There should be an empty chair at each table. And the reason we need an empty chair at each table is that we're going to have an elected official come to each one. So the elected officials are going to go to the table where the tents have their names. We're going to let you interact with them for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to have the politicians get up and go somewhere else, so you all will stay where you're at. But before we get started, I want to thank Living Hope for providing this space for us. We've got fine accommodations. Let's give them a round of applause. Also, the beverages and the donuts that were brought in by Mr. Donald Duncan and the folks from Caldwell County, so let's give them a round of applause. And I'm going to ask one of our commissioners, Mr. Donnie Potter, who called me about the idea, and it really was birthed from a conversation with one of our students, and I'd like for him just to recognize that individual so that we can give credit where credit is due, and then we'll get started.
So real quick, thank you, Dr. Phipps. I want to thank you guys for being here this morning. A couple months ago, I was down at CASA speaking to a civics class, and a young man asked me, one of the questions was, how do we, as youth, how do we connect to our elected officials? And I thought that was a very interesting question, because it's very hard to do that sometimes, especially when you don't know them. So today, you're going to have an opportunity to meet quite a few of us. And that young man's name is James Lackey. James, I know you're here somewhere. Where you at? Come up here. I'm going to embarrass you for a minute. No, James, this is an inspiration that James had, and through a question. And the point is, I want to give you a little something special. It's not much, but it's a little token of my appreciation. This is an opportunity for you guys to meet your elected officials, ask questions, understand the process of the civics and how things work in local government and county government. It's important to note that today is your opportunity to share what you feel and what you think about the things you want to see in our county, in our cities. I know sometimes you don't think we listen to you, and quite honestly, we probably don't listen to you as much as we should, because there is no avenue for you to express your thoughts and your opinions. So today you have this opportunity, and James, I want to thank you for inspiring this. I don't think he thought this was going to happen, because I told him I was going to make something happen, so I don't think he believed me. So, but I do appreciate you bringing that up, and it means a lot. So, guys, I look forward to this. I hope y'all have a great time. Listen, learn, and ask questions, and let us know what you want to see, the future of your county and the future of your city, what you want it to look like. Thank you, Dr. Phipps, for letting this happen, and thank you guys for being here.
So what we want to do now is I want to ask all the elected officials to stand, and if you've not made your way to your table, do that now, because we're getting ready to get started. But I want to pass the mic around and just have you introduce yourselves. Hopefully you'll have a chance to see almost everybody, but we're not going to have enough time for you for the elected officials to cycle around to each table. But I want you to know at least who's in the group. We'll start with Daryl.
I'm Daryl Pennell. I'm on the Caldwell County Board of Education and currently the chairman.
Good morning. I'm Ronnie Setzer. I'm the mayor of Cages Mountain. Have been for 17 years. So anyway, if anybody has any questions to ask, then feel free to do so, because I've been around a while now, okay?
Donald Duncan, Caldwell County. Not elected, but I work with electeds every day, and so glad to have you all here. Thank you very much.
Jimmy Harrison, Deputy County Manager. I'm not elected as well.
But he works with elected officials every day.
Good morning. I'm Larry Chapman with the town of Hudson. I'm a commissioner. I'm in my 4th term, and I'm going to retire after this 4th term. It's time for me to step down and some young people come along.
I'm Keith Warren. I was elected town council in 15 in Sawmills, and became mayor 3 years ago. Our mayor before me, he passed away in March of 22, and I took his place for right now.
I think we've got 2 tables here that don't have elected officials yet. Kathy, if you can help me here.
I'm Randy Beer, I'm town manager for Cages Mountain. Been there about 4.5 years, been doing this over 40 years.
Good morning, I'm Jonathan Beal, City Councilman for the City of Lenore. I'm in my 2nd term.
My name is Bonnie Caudle, and I'm the town administrator for the town of Gamewell, and I've only been there almost 2 years.
Good morning. I'm Ann Edwards. I am on the Board of Education, and I am elected.
I'm Chase Weinbarger. I'm the manager for the town of Sawmills. I've been there since 2019.
Good morning. I'm Janet Winkler. I'm the mayor of Hudson, and I have been mayor for 10 years.
Good morning. I'm Rick Shue. I am the mayor pro tem for the town of Hudson.
I'm Donnie Potter, County Commissioner on my 3rd term.
Good morning, I'm Joe Gibbons, the mayor of the city of Lenore, and I'm in my 19th year as mayor and councilman in the city of Lenore. Thank you for being here.
As you can see, we've got a great assorted group of elected officials. And I want to recognize them as well, because they have millions of things they could be doing today, and they've taken their time to spend a couple of hours with us. We're going to be in here for about 2 hours. What we'd like to do is about 15 minutes per elected official. Where's Brian? Well, Brian Moore in the back with the chamber. Brian, you want to introduce yourself? Brian is going to be our moderator and timekeeper, and when he comes back on the mic, then that's going to be the time for the elected officials just to go to a different table. Find a table that you've not been at when you move. And then as we wrap things up, probably the last half hour or 20 minutes to 30 minutes, he's going to go around the table and just get some feedback from the elected officials as they've had a chance to interact with you all. So again, thank you so much, and we look forward to having the next hour and a half, 2 hours with you as we get involved in this. Brian?
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. I'm Brian Moore. I'm the president and CEO of the Caldwell Chamber of Commerce, and I've been there for 5 years. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started with your first round. So start your questions and have a good time chatting. 15 minutes starts now.
Got 10 minutes.
What does the county commissioners do? So we manage the county government. So anything outside the municipality. So anything outside of Lenore, Hudson, Granite Falls, that falls into the county government. So, and we manage like your, one of the biggest things is your sheriff's office. The sheriff's office falls under county government. Emergency services, you know, the boo-boo buses, the ambulances, they fall under county government. Your county library system falls under county government. Your water system outside of municipalities falls into county government. So there's a lot of stuff that falls under our control. So it's a big, if you look at it, it's a big
It's just big government. It's the largest government in this county. Okay, you got the cities and the counties government, but the county is the largest government. Any other questions about what you guys, from a government standpoint? Really what I want to get to is I want to listen to what you have to say about what our needs are. Like, what do you want to see our county? So we as leaders and elected officials, sometimes we get caught up in what we want, okay? But I want to hear what you want to see in the future of our county, what you'd like to have here.
You know, when you came to like CASA and talked with us,
yep.
A lot of us were like, hey, we could like incorporate more like sports systems and stuff like that, or like more public transportation for whatever.
Yep.
And I know you said that we have it, it's just kind of no one knows where they're at.
Yep.
Like, I guess more signs of like telling us where to go, like how when 321 was closed down, you like gave us alternatives on where to go.
Yep.
I had no clue we could go those roads in the first
Yeah,
place.
you didn't know they were there. Yeah. So I think so more communication about what I'm hearing you say is that you want more communication about what is here.
Yeah.
And we do have a lot here. There's a lot here to do, but I do think there's things that we can do better. I think there's things that we can add that can fulfill the needs of the future. And again, you are the future. You guys are the future of our county, okay? And while we're starting to look at planning and trying to long-term plan, I wanted to hear what you have to say about needs. Transportation is a big one. It's a big challenge. And it's something that we're constantly battling, and it really comes down to funding. And I think that when you look at sports activities and things like that, there is a lot here, but it's kind of spread out. Okay, it's not like you can't go to a certain complex and get everything you want. It is kind of spread out. So I think more communication around what's here would be good. So I'll make a note of that.
A lot of schools, the teachers provide the stuff while the school doesn't. So like some of the teachers are going out of their way to buy like notebooks and pencils and stuff.
Yep.
And they have to buy their own monitors. And it gives them less money for their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like some schools should provide that for each student.
Yep.
Because they have to go out of their way to buy it.
Yeah, I agree with you 150%. And what I'm hearing you say is that you'd like more funding for the schools, for the classrooms, so that the teachers don't have to provide it. And I think that's something that I agree we can do better. We are ranked depending on how you cut the numbers, and you can, as you know, you guys can dissect numbers however you want to, but we're not up to par to where we should be on the per student. We're not there. So that's something that we've talked a lot about, and is how do we get there, and how do we provide the funding to fix that. And that is a topic of conversation that's actually going on as we speak in this year's budget, is how do we find more money to give to our school systems. A part of your funding for your school system does come from the county, but it's not the majority of the money. The majority of the money comes from the state and the federal government. So. How about social stuff? What do you want to see around the social side? When I was a kid growing up, we wanted a house, we wanted a garden, a tractor, and land, right? Today, I feel like that's changed, and I think that the youth, the younger folks these days, they want a place to live and stuff to do around them. Right? They want activities and things that you can go do. So one of the things I think we're lacking is a social, what do we do? What is it that you want from a social standpoint? Is that something you think we need?
It's maybe a little thing, but the sidewalks for the entire city so that people can go outside more.
Yep. So more sidewalks.
Yeah, there's
I like
none
it.
until you go into like that where all the food places are.
Yep. And I know that all the cities in their zoning, and when you go build a new facility, that they're required to put in a sidewalk. If you go down to the new sheets there in Granite Falls, if you look, it's become a little bit of a joke. There's a sidewalk to nowhere because the sidewalk starts here and ends here. But over time, those sidewalks will connect. We're actually working on some grants right now in ways how do we connect some of these sidewalks. You look at Blue Ridge Electric up here on 321 North out front, they got a beautiful big long sidewalk, right? So over time, we hope and we feel like that those sidewalks will connect and give people more ability to go and come, right, on a safe sidewalk area. So I like the idea. And that is something that's being worked on now. Is there is some grants being looked at, and trails. Trails is another thing I hear a lot about, is outdoor activities and walking on the walking trails and things like that.
I think like sometimes there should be a day where like some of them all come together, because you don't meet other people from other schools until you're like an adult. So I feel like if you meet them when you're younger, like social activities throughout the school day.
Yep. So one of the things that was talked about in the last group was after school social activities, and that was brought up as well, is how do we connect with other schools? Like, I know the students at my school, I know the students in my class, but I don't know the students at other schools. How do we connect that? So,
Field days.
yeah.
Especially since the most connection you can get is like through sports, like
Yep.
sports games and stuff.
And that's where you see a lot of that, right? Because you're competing against one another and you get to know each other. But then really you don't really get to know them because you're opponents, right? So you're not, when you're on the baseball field or football field, you're not looking to be friends, Yeah, you're trying to beat them. What do you guys think about like housing? Is it something? I mean, like I said years ago, everybody wanted to be a homeowner.
Yeah.
And I think today there's more focus on, multiple family houses like apartment complexes with things to do inside of that little area. Is that something you guys?
It's really hard for a lot of people to buy like houses and stuff because like rent is expensive. Like some people are asking for $1,000, but then they also have to have food that they gotta pay. They got bills. They got all sorts of other stuff that they also have to pay.
So affordable housing.
Yeah.
Especially like affordable definitely falls into the big talking spot, is because like I've noticed whenever like the walking parks that you can go to that like are literally just a walking trail, I've like kind of noticed more homeless people are kind of trickling in to like set up camps inside the walking park. So for a lot of people it seems less comfortable and more dangerous to go.
Not as safe.
Yeah.
Yep. What else? You guys can ask us anything, so that's why we're here. I want to hear from you. I want to know what's on your minds and what do you talk about amongst yourselves.
People are trying to go out of their way to like pick up trash that's along the roads and stuff.
So that's my pet peeve. I don't know if you know that, but I'm the one who started Clean Caldwell about 5 years ago. I started that, and I've adopted, my wife and family and we've adopted Dry Pines Road,
2-minute warning.
We're doing it.
2-minute warning for
But
your
I agree.
tables.
And what we've done around that, and I think you guys will see this, and you're older and you missed it, but we now have a lady, her name is Mallory Keller. She goes into the schools and she teaches about why, littering and recycling and things like that. So we realize that we can't fix it. It's a society issue. We've accepted it. We've allowed it to happen, right? So now we got to go back and educate the kids, because when I was growing up, they educated us on why you didn't do that, and there was nothing. And then all of a sudden, we quit educating. So now we're going back to the very beginning, and we're trying to catch the young kids. I think we're teaching it in 3rd through 8th grade, and she does a great job with it. And I think that's going to make a difference as we move forward. But I agree, that's a serious problem. It's something that we're constantly battling. The county actually hired, if you guys ever see a road needs to be cleaned up, just reach out to me. You can reach me on social media and on Facebook, and I can get somebody to go clean the road. We actually contract with a company who is helping us keep our roads clean. So to me, keeping the roads clean is the root of the big picture, because economic development, people moving here, and they don't want to come where there's no pride in the community. So I appreciate you guys' time. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else? You got to have something. You ain't got nothing? You've been awfully quiet over there. How about you, young man? Well, listen, I hope you guys realize that we care. We do care about what your thoughts are. Sometimes we don't do a very good job of listening to you, and that's what I'm trying to change today is understanding that you are the future of our county, and we need to listen to you more, and not just let you talk, but truly listen. So,
All right, folks, time's
appreciate
up
your
at
time.
tables.
Thank
If
you, guys. Hope
can
you
grab
enjoyed
your
this.
Sign and so if you guys share with me, by the way, I'm Donald Duncan, County Manager. Share with me kind of what you think the best part of the community is. You know, if you were going to tell anybody about where you live, what would the best part be? It could be anything.
I would say the best part is the connectedness. Like everybody's always able to help each other no matter what's going on.
Very good. Yeah, cool. What about you?
I'm not really sure.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
The events that we have, like for community events.
Yeah?
Even though they're small and stuff, but they do bring a lot. Like,
Yeah. Anything specific?
I honestly really like the local coffee groups that go out to them. Like,
Yeah.
display like what they sell and stuff to get their coming out there. And also, like, if they don't go out there, I really want to know what
Sure.
they sell or anything like that. So I do like that a lot.
What about you?
I like a lot of the small businesses, and I like how like around here, like we have like a town and like a community, but also like if you just drive like a little bit, like there's also like woods and stuff that you can do outside.
Yeah, wilderness, yeah.
Yeah, I get close to the town and the nature.
Yeah, that's cool. What about you?
I also agree with him. Like, there's a lot of variety inside the community, and even though like there's a bunch of little towns, but I feel like they're all connected.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and something else I like this recently, I've noticed like there's been a lot more like small businesses like popping up recently.
Correct, yeah.
And I've like really enjoyed like going to them and like trying all the new food and like looking at all the new stuff they got.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been, it's a very pro-business area, yeah. You got anything?
Playing off of those two side of it, I really like the events that we hold, like the Blackberry Festival and things like that, and how we get to meet all the small businesses. I found that really fun because I went. And just like events we hold like that.
Cool. What about you?
I agree with them. I really like the Blackberry Festivals and like all of the small businesses and things that we have and the variety of the town itself.
Okay. All right, you can't repeat somebody's answer. You got to think your own. All right. What about if you could wave a magic wand, right? You know, Harry Potter style. What would you change about your community?
I would, maybe I just don't get out much, but I don't feel like there's very many places you can go to hang out without being like the same old. So like not recreational, but like somewhere you can just go to hang out with your friends, and like it doesn't necessarily have to be anything big, but yeah.
Okay. What about you?
I feel like a bigger shopping center, because I feel like there's a lot of options, but not like really big name brands places where you can go and shop.
And you?
Yeah, I would say like kind of like a place that that hosts like a little bit more events, like kind of like on a more regular basis, you know. Like we have like a lot of events around here, but they're kind of like spread out, and if you're not like paying close attention, you don't like really know about them, you know. Like maybe like a place that has like an event like every other weekend or something that like you know like other people are going to come to, so you can like actually like meet more people that are around you. You know what I'm saying?
What about you?
I would just say like educational opportunities in general. Like I feel like we have like good programs for high school students like during the summer and things like that. But I feel like we definitely need more opportunities.
So what about specifically, I mean, what would that look like?
I mean, just like, I'm trying to think. Like we have like Camp Med and all of those other kinds of things. I feel like we need to have those more often.
Okay. So yeah, so it takes people to put those on, right? It costs money, right? It's pretty interesting that we've got 5 high schools in a community this small, and what I've noticed is that there's so much more than when I was a kid. Like we didn't have any of the technology today. I mean, I remember we had a computer lab, and there was like 10 machines in it. That's all we had. And so today to go in and you have like, you know, arts and sciences programs at CASA, or, you know, seeing the robots and all that. So I guess
it seems like there's a lot of effort in those, but if there's more to be done, then let me know if you got an idea on it. What about you? Wave a magic wand.
I think we just need like more things to do around here. Because oftentimes, like, in order to go do things, like me and my family, we usually go to like Hickory, or we have to drive like a little bit away to like go and do anything. It's mostly just like pose and like walk your own part.
Yeah.
They were like school best, like, 'cause, like 8th grade I participated in a drone competition in school, right, where I was just like going against like other high schools from the state, and we did it through Zoom since it was still COVID times. We had to program the drone to like fly to certain spots and stuff. And but I would like to see like more of those. So, like in school, like it can be like different like fields to it. It can be like see like if they can do like a little competition like medical stuff or robotics.
So, when you're talking with your parents, what are the things that concern you the most? What makes you worry about anything? Is it, when they start whispering so that you don't hear? What are they talking about? What is it that bothers them?
I don't know because I can't hear them.
Okay. But you catch some of that stuff. You overhear stuff, right? So what is it that worries you?
Personally, I feel like ever since COVID, there's been kind of like, for me personally, like from teachers, I feel like there's like been a decrease in effort. Like when you compare students from Caldwell County compared to like bigger cities, I feel like educationally we lack significantly. Because I recently did like a proposal in my English 111 class. I was proposing a STEM application to add to like the Caldwell County class link. And I had to go do research on like the Caldwell County like websites to see different county statistics and stuff. And overall, the United States falls significantly behind in education than other countries do. Well, then I was looking into like county test scores, and we're like below average testing wise. So I feel like effort and just like overall education for students is kind of decreasing, and it kind of scares me because I've tried to apply to different. I applied to the math and science school a couple of years ago, and I had to go and take a math test. And like when I compared myself to the other kids that were coming from different counties from there, I felt like smaller and like I didn't know
Reality check, right?
And know as much as the others, and it kind of makes me nervous because we are such a small county, and compared to like bigger ones, like it just, I don't know, I feel very tiny, and like I might be good here, but then you put me somewhere else, and I'm like, man, I don't know anything.
Yeah, and that's just life, right? That's the way it always is. You're going to be that way. You're going to find yourselves around people that are really good, and so continue to surround yourselves with that. You shouldn't be ever worried or intimidated that they're so much smarter or so much better than you, because when you're in groups like that, it makes you better, and you make them better, right? You kind of lift each other up. A lot of people are intimidated by that, and they try to shy away from it. Don't do that. Do the opposite. Try to find a community, where you can excel. And it's like when I hire people, that's exactly what I look for, is somebody who's going to make me better. And a lot of people are intimidated by that, so they don't do that. I feel the opposite. What about you?
I'm not really sure. My room is on the opposite end of the house, so I don't hear any gossip, sadly.
All right. So I guess another question would be is what keeps you up at night, right? Like if you wake up in the middle of the night, what bothers you? What worries you?
Not the county, right?
About anything. Anything. It doesn't matter.
Homework. One thing I've noticed, I live in downtown Lenore. Ever since the pandemic, I've absolutely seen an increase in like homeless people around the city, and I really do think it's getting worse by the day.
Yeah,
and I really do think that's a problem that should be fixed.
I do think I agree with him because I don't go to Lenore like super often, but sometimes I have to work up there, and I went up there the other day after work, and there was like 2 homeless people walking down the street, and I saw like 2 more over there and another one over there, and I just feel like right around before COVID, like right during COVID and after, it's gotten like it's gotten like really bad around the north.
So do y'all know that we have a team that works the 4-county area? The 4 counties, Alexander, Burke, Caldwell, Catawba, all work very, very closely together. Our economies are really closely linked. So we have a team of people that's their entire job is to work with homeless, and it never ends, right? It just keeps coming. So where do the homeless come from? Why are people homeless? Anybody know?
I know a lot of times it can be like loss of jobs. I know a lot of times it can be substance abuse, and I know that like if you have like a homeless shelter, they can't go in the shelter unless they stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of times a lot of homeless people would rather stay on the substances instead of getting sober and getting a home. Mm-hmm. So I know that's kind of a problem too.
So all of those things are symptoms. What really causes homelessness, if you study it, it's about 90% to 95% of homelessness comes from someone who was abused, typically in their family or a loved one or someone in society, and they did not know how to deal with it. They did not have a way to cope. They didn't have an outlet. They didn't have a support network. And so they start to self-medicate, which is where the drug abuse comes in. And then they lose everything, and they're not able to function in society. So there's over 9 million jobs. Actually, I think it's closer to 10 million jobs open in this country right now. So it's not that they don't want to work. It's not that they cannot. They are physically incapable because of what happened to them. And so that is mental health issues, behavioral health issues, and then they reach out to drugs to try to treat that and make themselves forget and make themselves numb. So then they lose everything, and then ultimately homelessness is the last step in it. But it begins typically in a family, and so we're not sure how to fix it. No one really knows how to do it. It's been this way forever, but it ultimately boils down to having good, solid families, being in a stable environment where you feel safe. And so when you see homelessness increase in your community, it's typically because the community is considered safe. They don't feel threatened, and that's why oh yeah, this is a good place to hang out. I'm not going to get attacked, or my chances of getting attacked. And then moderate climate. When it's not too cold, it's not too hot, and that's typically where it is. What else? Anybody got things that worry them or keep them up at night? Homelessness is a great one. It bothers a lot of folks.
The whole situation, like how most of them are all walking, also them just across the highway.
Yeah.
And like the housing are zoom right by them, and stuff like that. I know it's because there's no actual way to cross the street.
Mm-hmm.
The safe way,
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, time's up for this.
All right, good to meet you guys. Have a good day.
Tell me what questions you have. Now, Rick Shue may have answered a lot of them from the town of Hudson, but just ask me some questions. Let me know what you think.
So what do you do in your day-to-day?
Day-to-day, I do things like this. I don't go into the office every day. I do when I'm needed, but I do a lot of meetings. That's sort of what the mayor does, and represent the town at different functions. So that's mostly what I do. Sort of busy, but it's all good. It's good.
So when you say only when you really need it, what kind of things would you be needed?
Okay, we actually have a manager for the town of Hudson, and he runs the day-to-day. He hires and fires employees, and we hire him. But now he takes care of all the other employees in the office, in the police department. Of course, the police chief hires his officers, but the town manager is over the police chief. So he runs the day-to-day. So when there are just issues and we need to really sit down and work out some things that's going on with the town or whatever, then the manager will call me and I'll come in and we'll sit and go through and just brainstorm about things that we need to do. He does make the final decision for the employees, but he never does that without the input of the mayor and the commissioners in Hudson. You have one? Okay. Okay.
How much is your job different from Rick's job that we had earlier?
I probably am busier at functions representing the town than Rick is. Now, when I can't be somewhere or I cannot conduct a meeting, which we have once a month, then Rick would step in and do that. That's what Mayor Pro Tem does. Rick actually has a full-time job. I guess he told you at the college. So I'm more available because I'm retired. So I'm probably more the one that's out and about and be in the front of Hudson. But when I can't do it, then Rick steps in. And Rick is an important part of our commissioners because we have 6 commissioners and myself. The commissioners vote on the budget and any policy change that we're adopting. The only time I vote is to break a tie. So I don't normally vote. The 6 commissioners do that.
What made you want to get into being the mayor?
Actually, I didn't want to get into it. But I was asked many, many years ago if I would serve as the commissioner for the town of Hudson. And I thought, well, you know, I could probably do that. And that's an elected position. So I signed up and I ran to be a commissioner. And I was a commissioner for 14 years before I ran to be mayor. The previous mayor in Hudson had been mayor 22 years. And so he decided to retire. And he asked me if I would run. And I thought, well, you know, I guess I could do that. I mean, I was used to being a commissioner, so I knew how things worked, and I could run a meeting. You know, it wasn't going to be rocket science to do that. So I told him I would. And I've been very, very fortunate in my, if you call it, political career. Every time I have run for public office, I have never had anybody run against me. So I really, it's, you know, the politics part of it really hasn't been that bad. So I would just run and, you know, I just would be elected. So I never, when I was probably younger, never ever thought that I would get into politics in any way. But it's worked out really well. And Hudson's a really great little town. It's, you know, we don't have a lot of terrible, terrible things going on like, you know, bigger towns like Charlotte. I wouldn't run for anything in Charlotte. I don't think I could do that. But Hudson's a great town, and I really do enjoy what I do.
What did you do before you were the mayor?
I was a banker.
Oh, okay.
And I retired from banking after 40 years. So, and I really enjoyed that. And both of them are about meeting people and dealing with people every day. That's why I thought, well, if I could be a banker and I could talk to people all day, you know, I could probably be a commissioner or mayor. So I think it was a good start for me, you know, just to be able to do as much as I could for people, even in banking. You know, you can't make people happy all the time because, you know, there's times when you have to say no. So, you know, I figured if I could do that, I could probably, you know, do this job. And it's been good. It's been good. Any other questions?
So we were talking about like trying to make that strip like different, like improving.
The streetscape, yeah.
Do you guys have any other ideas or plans?
That's the big plan right now. That's going to cost us quite a bit of money. And that's probably going to be a 2 or 3 year project, maybe 2. We have the design work and the architect work done now, which is really going to look great. It's really going to be really nice. What somebody asked me earlier, if I had any future plans after we get done with that. And I don't know if any of you know anything about, has anybody been to Hudson? Have y'all been to Hudson? Okay. You know where the Fairway Shopping Center is in behind Town Hall? Well, you know, that's a little dilapidated. You know, it's just sort of pitiful. So I really would like to be able to get a grant, because I think it would cost a lot of money for the town to purchase all of those buildings and revamp them, make them really look nice, and so we could market those buildings to small business and make them successful. You know, I think the small businesses in there now struggling a little because there's no reason for anybody to go back in there. You know, it's just not, yeah, it's just not a nice, yeah, it really is sort of distressing. So I really would like for the town to be able to own that and really do something with it. I think that could really be a major part of downtown Hudson if we could do that. So that's long term. I'm sorry. There's individuals own it. You know, some of them own their own space. There used to be a lady that owned the Fairway grocery store that was in there, and then there was a store beside them. So that long building in the back, Fairway grocery store used to be there, Fair Value. And then they moved because she wouldn't fix the building. You know, the roof was leaking and all this stuff, so they left. So some buyers bought that section, the end section down there, but they're not really doing anything with it. I think they fixed the roof. Not sure about anything inside. I don't think they've done anything inside. It's just sitting there. You know, that could be a great space for some retail store. So, I don't know. But there are different owners in there.
I think it's a great idea too, because like Hudson and Granite are both really small, and if you're in Granite, you're close to Hickory, and if you're in Hudson, you're close to Lenore, so people just, if they're
go
gonna
through.
If they're
I
going to
know.
do something, they go to either one. But
they do.
If you had some like buildings looking nicer, maybe then you could get some restaurants popping
Absolutely,
in and stuff like that.
absolutely. And that is our goal. We want more retail so people will stop in Hudson. Have any of you been to the Hub Art Center?
Yeah.
That has been a major, major plus for us.
That's what Rick was telling us.
Oh my gosh, that has been, you know, when we got that building from the school, there was a lot of work we had to do on it. But the vision of the commissioners was, we're going to make that into something. So that building is an art center, and the one beside it, which used to be Horizons building, school building, is now our small business center. And every room, which is a classroom, in that building is occupied right now by small business owners who can operate in that space. So both of those buildings have been really good, not just for Hudson, for Caldwell County, and for the Unifor. Because we have a lot of people come to the Hub building for plays, our dinner theaters that we do. So that's been really, really good for Caldwell County.
You know,
We're proud of it.
This is not around us, but you know, like the new city walk that Hickory made.
Oh yeah.
Do you think the town of Hickory did a good job with that, or do you think it was kind of?
All right, folks, this is
I think
your
they did a great
warning
job.
for your
I think they
table.
did a great job. And all of that was from grant money. That wasn't from taxpayer money. In fact, we had a meeting last night. We were coming back from Hickory, and we were looking at this, you know, the walk around, you know, Lake Hickory, and it was all lit up, and people was still, it was dark, and people were still walking out there. I just thought that was awesome. Yeah, I think they've done a good job. Yeah. Wish we had something. Now, we've got a lot of pathways in Hudson. We've got like 4 miles of walking trail where you can walk all around, you know, Hudson. Around the Hub, you start at the wreck and then walk to the Hub and then around town. So we've done pretty good with that. We've got like 40 acres of park land right in town in Hudson. That's sort of unheard of for a small town of 4,000 people. So I think we've done really well with what we've got to work with. Yeah. So, and we don't like to spend tax money on that. Yeah, we really like to apply for grants, so, and to get things like that done. So we try to be very mindful, you know, of the taxes that people pay. We don't spend it on frivolous things. We're actually hoping right now to get a grant to help us with the cityscape that we're going to do. We're really hoping to get a grant for that.
Kind of like, not like city walk over the lake, but like, you know, downtown Hickory has like.
Yes,
like
the
that.
sales, you know, that's sort of what we're anticipating that looking like. We're going to have between Town Hall,
All right, everybody, I think this these great
and the
conversation. All
cafe
tables
right
will go ahead
there,
and move to your
we're going
next
to have a
spot.
sale on the stage right there. So, yeah, we're hoping to get that done.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It's good to see you guys. Where you go to school? All from West Caldwell. Good school.
like West Caldwell. I went to Lenore High School, which doesn't exist anymore, but you know, when we split it, part went to West, part went to Eyebright, you know, so we didn't, all those crowd didn't have a home for a little bit, but thank God I was already finished with that before it all happened, so it's good. Well, I'm Joe Gibbons, the mayor of Lenore. Glad to meet you guys. Glad to have you. What do you guys, you play ball? Anybody?
I play golf.
Golf? Hey, that's a good one. That lasts with you forever.
I play football.
Football, all right. I played football at Appalachian. I was a wide receiver. Not quite as heavy as I am now. You know how that is. Well, good. Well, listen, what can I answer for you today? This is a great group. What's on your mind that you're thinking about that you'd like to talk about? What can we move forward with? And you can ask me anything about what's going on in the communities. You know, we're getting ready to get right into the heart of what Lenore does all, you know, from the summertime. We've got a lot of events that'll be coming up. The Blackberry Festival in July is one of the big ones. We have the barbecue in October, which is big, the Woodfire Smoke Festival. We just finished the Bike Festival weekend before, and we got music on the square all summer and movies. So this is a time when you can come and enjoy a lot of things going on in downtown Lenore. So hope y'all will come out and do that. But what are you thinking about?
So like with the budget, would you say that like more money is spent on, let's say, like, well, do you say more money needs to be spent on education, like school?
On education?
Yeah, education specific.
Well, I you know, obviously yes. I would always say that because, you know, our teachers are not paid as well as I think they should be, obviously. My wife taught school for 36 years, so I know. She loved it. My wife never taught one day that she cared about what she was paid. I'm telling you. She loved it because she loved teaching. She taught at Davenport, East Harper, and then Davenport A+ school for all those years, and she loved teaching. And we're very blessed and honored to have a wonderful school system. We have wonderful teachers and all that, but you know, we need to help them. We need to keep moving forward. Now, obviously, those are our county and state the things that are discussed. The city of Lenore, we don't do education. Obviously, it's not part of our budget process. But I'm telling you, from way I feel that we always ought to do everything we can to grow our education.
So what is part of your budget process?
Our budget process, of course, you know, in the city of Lenore, we have police, fire, recreation, public works, public utilities. We supply. I always tell the elementary kids, I wouldn't tell you guys this, but one of the things I'll ask them when I go in is, all right, what was the first thing you did this morning when you got up? Brushed your teeth. What'd you use to brush your teeth? Who supplies that water to you? We do. That's my always when I start with the elementary kids. Tell them that's where your water comes from. The city of Lenore provides that water to you for drinking and brushing your teeth, and taking baths and washing your clothes and all that kind of thing. And we want to give you the best quality that we can. That's one of our big things that we do. About 75% of all the water in Caldwell County comes from the city of Lenore. We handle that. Granite Falls has their own water, and then there's some others in the outer lying areas that have some water, but most everything it comes through, almost 80% comes through Lenore. So that's a big thing. But our budget is built around all those things that we provide the protection, we provide the services, garbage pickup, fixing the streets. Like say recreation, of course. We have Mulberry Recreation Center, the Martin Luther King Center, Aquatics and Fitness Center, Wilson Fields, Wilson Park, the Old Lenore High facilities. All that's part of the recreation program. So we provide all of that for the citizens of Lenore and Caldwell County as well. You know, not just people in Lenore use those facilities. And then we have team ball displayed and provide all of those kind of things. So it's a pretty good sized budget, you know, to take care of all that. So that's what cities do to keep moving. We have planning, zoning, I know I miss, downtown economic development, downtown Main Street, and all that kind of thing. So it's a lot that people don't realize that we have to take care of.
Would you say your day-to-day schedule is pretty busy?
Very busy. You know, being the mayor of Lenoir is not supposed to be a full-time job. Well, that's not true. It really is. You know, when I am now retired from my business, I was in the electrical contracting business with my family for 66 years. So I had to balance working in private industry and being a public servant. So that was good. Now I don't have to do that. I just get to be a public servant, which I really love. But I do have to balance my schedule. You know, the governing body of Lenoir is made up of the mayor and 7 council members. So there's eight of us that are the city council. And my job really as mayor is probably more, I have to do a lot more than they do because I'm constantly called to ribbon cuttings, welcomes, all this kind of thing that you have to do. So it keeps you pretty busy. I love it. I don't complain a bit. I love doing it. Just like coming here today to do this. This is great. Somebody asks me, what's one of your favorite things to do as mayor? I said, it's get to go to the schools. I love going to schools. Elementary schools or high schools, middle schools, the community college, and all those things. That's great because I get to meet you guys and talk and you know, see what's on your mind, and hopefully, you know, I might be looking at one of the next councilmen in Lenoir. That'd be great. I hope that you guys would consider being a part of it and one day. I know right now it's furthest thing from your mind, but one day you'll be thinking about that. You know, yeah, I can't do this forever. I'm getting old, and things have got to change. And the next generation is you guys, and that's what it takes to be a part of your community. So, but that's every day is something different. You know, when I leave here, I've got 2 or 3 things to do this afternoon with meetings and that kind of thing. This week I've had meetings every single night, and some nights some weeks it's not that bad, but I'm involved in a lot of other areas like the Western Piedmont Council of Governments, and I serve on that board. You know, have other meetings that I go to. So it's busy, but it's good because that means that we're trying to improve our community the best we can to be a part of that. I'm very active in the state. I'm involved with several different state boards. I just finished serving as the chairman of the North Carolina Mayors Association, which is all the mayors of North Carolina, which I really thoroughly enjoy. And I'm still involved in it. I'm still in the group. I just rotated off as chair, but that's a great thing where we can get together and talk about what's going on in your town. And we can have discussions. I can tell them how Lenoir's doing. They can tell me how Newton's doing, or Hickory's doing, or Raleigh's doing, or whatever. So there's a lot of good things that come from that. So I know we're running out of time. What else can I answer?
What would you want to change about Lenoir? What's your favorite part?
What would I change about Lenoir? Gosh, I don't know that I would change a lot. I love Lenoir the way it is. I would love to have a more variety of restaurants, yeah, for sure. And we work on that a lot. You know, it's not like we just all go out and recruit all fast food. We don't do that. Our retail strategies group recruits a lot of different style. But I can't make a restaurant want to come here. They've got to look at the demographics of our community and say, okay, people make so much money here, people do this, people do that. So that's what it takes. I'd love to see some changes there. But as far as Lenoir itself, I love the style of town we are. Our number one asset in this community are our people. Our people are, everybody is very welcoming here. Everybody treats people really nicely here. I have people tell me all the time, I've thought about going to Hickory. I go to Hickory and I've met with some people, and honestly, they're just not as nice as people in Lenoir. It's a good thing to hear. It's great to hear that people feel that way. They think it's a little more cliquish there than it is. Here we try to welcome everybody in our community, and we want people to to come and be a part of it and grow with us. So we welcome them in to do that. So if I could change anything, I wouldn't change certain things, but I would try to bring in a different variety of things. And we're going to do that all the time. So anyway, great to meet you guys.
My name's Jimmy Harrison. I'm the Deputy County Manager for Caldwell County. I've worked there for approximately 28 years. My career started out in law enforcement. I worked in the detention center as a bailiff. Worked on patrol, both as a patrolman and a supervisor. Then worked in the DARE program, and then as an SRO at South Caldwell High School. I worked with a lot of the high schools, West Caldwell, South Caldwell, and then Gateway. And then all the county schools that I work with the DARE program, I kind of served with them as an SRO throughout that, because we didn't have SROs assigned to all the schools at that time. But I worked there until 2012, and I became the Human Resources Director for the county, was over benefits, all the different things like hiring process, onboarding, dealt with employee problems, things like that with human resources. And then in 2022, I got promoted to Deputy County Manager. So if you kind of think about that in relation to the school, kind of like an assistant superintendent. So like you have Dr. Phipps who's here. So he's the superintendent. So Donald Duncan is the county manager. And then you see Mr. Poole and some of the others. So they would kind of be like deputy or assistant superintendent. So I kind of serve as deputy county manager. So kind of related to that. So that's my job. We break it up, different departments. So I oversee operations in health department, emergency services, water, veterans affairs, and then I'm associated with the sheriff's office as well. So I'm a sworn officer, have been for all those years. I went through and got my bachelor's degree at Lees McRae in criminal justice, and then continued on and got a master's degree in strategic leadership from Mountain State University, which was a program that we had at the county, and did that all while working and then prior to getting promoted. So that's just a little bit about me. I've lived here my whole life. I went to West Caldwell High School, so kind of relate to that. But so that's me. So what questions do you have?
What's like a day-to-day for you?
My day-to-day can be anything, and that's a good question, because my day-to-day could be anything. I can start off with a plan that, hey, I'm going to work on these projects. I've got several things going on. I'm renovating an EMS base. I'm working on a courthouse, doing things like that. So I may take and say, my plan for today is to take and get this done, this done, this done. And I get to the office, and something could have happened last night, or something happens this morning. So like yesterday, we had ambulance wrecks. Yeah. So I had to take and break off what I was doing yesterday and go deal with that. Or, we could have a complaint come in, or we could have a personnel issue or anything. So I can sit here and say, oh, I go to the office every day and I sit there and I do this, this, and this. I can't ever tell you that.
Yeah.
I can plan and say, I've got meetings here, here, and here, and then something could change. Yes, so, I could get a phone complaint, I could have an issue come up, or we could have something happen. We could have a lost hiker or a drowning or something else that pulls me away and I have to go help, or an incident, in one of the other departments. There could be anything. We could have a water line break or something like that, that we're having to get information out to the public and do things like that. So I'm kind of doing a lot of different things. But day to day, it's fun because it's not all the same.
Yeah,
it's really neat for somebody who doesn't want to sit there and, be monotonous, do the same thing over and over and over again. That's And I think my experience as a law enforcement officer helped me in that, because every day was different there. I would get calls, people would call and say, hey, can you come help us with this problem? So I was always dealing with something different and trying to help people fix problems that they had at home or things like that. And I think that made me a little bit better at this position, because, I get a complaint and I'm there trying to help somebody and trying to get them to a solution with it, so good
How long
question.
was you a law enforcement officer for?
Until I was full-time law enforcement until 2012. So I worked from 1995 to 2012 in that time. So
What made you decide to not be a law enforcement officer and go into this?
it was a really, really tough decision for me because I enjoyed what I was doing at the time. I was supervising the DARE programs and the SROs and civil division and things like that. And that's all I ever wanted to be, was a law enforcement officer. But, I wish I would have taken advantage of the educational opportunities that I had coming out of high school, and I didn't, because I had it in my mind that I was going to be a law enforcement officer and that I didn't need that education, that all I needed to do was get basic law enforcement training and do those things. But I had 4 years that I could have used to get an education. So we started promotional processes, and they were telling us about, you got to have this much education to get to this level. You've got to have this much education to get to this level. So I thought, I'm going to take and do something that will give me an advantage, and I'm going to go back to school. And that's what I did. I started going back to school. I was working full time, doing all these things. And so I went back, got my bachelor's degree, and then continued straight on and got a master's degree and got promoted up. And whenever I got promoted, I was doing a lot of different programs. I was working with the county in some customer service initiatives that we had, and we were doing some things. And while I was working there, one of the opportunities I had, we were doing the customer service stuff, and some people started talking to me. I was working with the county manager and some different people, and they were like, "Have you ever thought about coming to administration? Have you ever thought about, working in human resources, things like that?" And that opportunity came, and I applied, went through the process, and to me, it was one of the biggest decisions I ever made, was to leave a career that I'd started and had all that time in to transition over. But it was still with the county. Yeah. And the good part is I still got to keep my law enforcement certification and to continue to do those things. Like last night I qualified, I went out and did training. So I was on the range until 10 o'clock last night. So I get to keep that part of it. Yeah. So I'm still sworn. I still have my law enforcement authority. I can do things. I can make arrests. I can do whatever I need to do. I can go work. I can work ball games. I can do all kinds of stuff. I can go out work patrol. Do different things.
Suit up every day?
Yeah. If I choose to, I can go suit up this weekend and go ride and work and do those things. So I still get that part of it. So it's still part of me and always will be. So yeah. So.
What's the scariest situation you've been in as a law enforcement officer?
A lot of people ask that question, and I've been involved in a lot of things because, I was on the SWAT team and did different things, and I've been involved in officer-involved shootings and things like that. And there's a lot of them, and some of them I get emotional talking about because, we've lost officers before, and we've had a lot of officers shot, and we've had a lot of officers involved in shootings, and that's probably the most difficult. And then dealing with children who are victims of crimes, that's another difficult one. But the scariest things, like I said, is are those things. You see that what happened in the news this week. You see things like that, and
especially a SWAT team.
Yeah, that's real. That can happen. You see it more and more, and that's real stuff, and that happens. It's we're not Supermen. We're human beings. We have emotions. We have families. We have loved ones, concerns, things like that. That stuff's real. But people have. You've got to have people to do those jobs. So.
You as a deputy county manager, you play a very important role in the community. And you said you do lots of different tasks, every day it's something different. What's the most common problem you come across?
Probably the most common problem would be sometimes our communication, things like that, where stuff might be miscommunicated, or we don't get information out, and people may not have the information or have misinformation. I think that's sometimes a lot of times that we deal with, because people will call in and they'll say, "Well, I heard this," and it's like, "No, no, that's not true. Here's the information." So I think that sometimes, and then we have a lot of common problems that I deal with daily. We get a lot of complaints about trash and roadside cleanup and things like that. There's a lot of issues that we deal with daily. I mean, we have a lot of programs, but some of the stuff I hear a lot are those things, and people see that stuff. People want to live in a good community. They want to have, a good, clean neighborhood and things like that. So that's some of the things we hear, quite a bit. But I think, to answer your question, communication. I mean, that seems to be the big thing. And we're working on a lot of different things. I mean, just like whenever they mic me up and put me on this, so I'm sure this is going to be on our channel. And we try to promote our communication through our website, through the TV channel, through social media platforms and things like that. And we're getting better at it. I mean, it's things that's how your generation communicates now, right?
Yeah.
Well, my generation, we didn't have cell phones. It wasn't a text message. It wasn't a thing. It was you dialed a phone and picked up and called somebody. So we're learning how to communicate, and I think that's the big thing. So.
What's one big project that you guys have been working on for the county?
Good question, because I'm working on a large project right now, and it is the courthouse project. So we've got a lot of projects going on. We got EMS bases, actually one that's going across the street here, working on the courthouse, which is a major project for us. So we've got a courthouse that's over 100 years old. It was renovated and added onto in the early 90s, and you've got the older portion. So if you think about all the technology and stuff that you deal with today, well, they use that same stuff in the courtrooms. So this older portion has walls where it was built on twice before it was added on. So there's walls over there that, whenever I say this honestly, I measured them, they're 16 inches thick. So for me to take and run wires and to get IT components in and to try to do things like that, to put TVs, computers, all that kind of stuff, it's very difficult. So, and you're dealing with an older building that you're trying to do things with. So our population has grown, our court processes have grown, courts are needing space, and we just don't have any more space there in that building. So we've acquired some property that we're looking at possibly moving it and building a new courthouse, and then doing something with what we currently have there, maybe something different. So but that's the big project that we have right now that I'm working on.
I have one more quick question.
Yes, sir.
You have all this experience on keeping the community safe. What's something us as citizens of the community can help you out keeping the community safe?
Excellent question. Just be involved. Don't be afraid to communicate. Keep an eye out for each other. I tell people this all the time: lock your stuff. Don't make it easy for people to take advantage of you. Be aware of scams and things like that. So.
To know that you guys are giving some really good feedback. I'm surprised at some of the questions and the comments. And one of the biggest things that I see is that we got to figure out a way to do a better job of educating you guys on what is in Caldwell County. There's so many things here, there's so many opportunities that are here, but you don't know about it. So shame on us for not, sharing and telling you what's here and the opportunities that are here. So one of the questions that I've been asking is, when you graduate high school and you graduate college, what is it you want to do? And if a lot of you are saying, well, we're probably going to go somewhere else because there's nothing here. There's no job here. There's no pay here. There's no entertainment here. So these are the things that I'm getting out of this, and I think it's interesting, and it's good to hear that we have to do a better job of educating them on what's here. We got to do a better job of selling Caldwell County and the communities that are inside of it.
Well said. Thank you, sir. We're going to come over to Madam Mayor Janet Winkler from Hudson. Those of you that didn't get a chance to visit with her, many of you did. But Janet, tell us what you thought and what your takeaways are from today.
Well, I echo everything that Donnie Potter said, but I am absolutely amazed at all of you in this room. We have got the smartest students in Caldwell County, And not only did I hope that you learned something from us, but I learned so much from these students. And when we talk about supporting education, we as political powers need to be on the front line of that, because these students are going places and we need to back them up. And yeah, we hope they will come back here, Donnie, because we have got awesome employers here in Caldwell County. But these young people are just so smart and so intelligent. I don't know if the rest of you are like me. It's like, okay, I'm really a little outnumbered here, because these students know what they want and they know they're going to get it. So thank you all in this room for being here, and I hope we do make this an annual event. And Donnie, when you were talking about we need to showcase more of what's going on in Caldwell County, I asked every table I go to if they had been at the hub station. I'm sorry, I'm doing a little ad here. But if they had been to the hub station, that is a fantastic place in Hudson that is not only for tourism and it's for people from out of state, it's for all of us. There are all kinds of things that we can be doing right here in the county. So thank you all for being here today. I hope we do this on an ongoing basis because I think we learned a lot today, and we learned what amazing, amazing students we've got in Caldwell County. So thank you, Dr. Phipps, everybody in education, for this group and all of our students in Caldwell County. We support you in everything and all of your professions. You know, we're all right here behind you. Thank you, Ron.
All right, folks. Mr. Darrell Pennell from the school board.
I want to thank each of you for being here today. I think this is a great program. I think we need to have more of this. I was a teacher for 33 years and taught government at the local level and the state level and the federal level. And we need to know more about our local government. I think this is a great start. You know, I always told my students that you can't pick up the phone and call the President of the United States. You can't pick up the phone and call the Speaker of the House or even your legislator in Washington, D.C. Oftentimes, it's very hard to pick up the phone and call a state legislator at the state level, and certainly you can't call the governor. But here in Caldwell County, you can pick up the phone if you have an issue. You can call a county commissioner, you can call a school board member, you can call a mayor, anybody that is involved in government, you can call and they will talk to you. And on practically every situation, they're going to do something about it. If somebody calls me about something, depending on what it is, I'm going to deal with it by talking to the superintendent of schools if it's an educational situation, because he is hired to administer our school system, and he does a superb job with it. And so anytime we have an issue, we jump on it quickly and we take it seriously. So anytime you have something, you know, you can give me a call, you can give a county commissioner a call, you can give a city councilman a call, and they are more than willing to help. Very impressed with the students that we have here today. Thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. We really have some very intelligent students here, and I'd like to see this program continue. I know it seemed like that the 2-minute warning came early in most cases. I would have enjoyed to have another 10 minutes. But it's been a great morning, and I want to thank Brian. I want to thank Dr. Phipps and Donnie with you and Donald Duncan, putting this thing together. So thank you very much, and good luck to all the students, and anytime we can help, let us know.
If you guys do not know a phone number of any one of them, you can contact the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll make sure we give you their phone numbers. I know them all, and I can text them. Mayor Gibbons.
Yes, sir.
Mayor Gibbons, Mayor of Lenore, would you like to share what you learned today?
I learned a lot. I'll tell you what, this was a very exciting day. This is not the first time that we have had these discussions. I enjoy going to the schools, and I've been to all of them, and I enjoy that. Community college especially. I'm sitting at the table of high-riding students right here. This is great. Today, just to, all that we hear and all that's going on is great. And I'm glad that they are so interested and want to be a part of growing it. We need to keep this, I think we call this a town hall day, Mr. Commissioner. It's a great idea. We need to do it more. And we need to maybe find a way to have some regular meetings with different groups and listen to what they want us to do and what we can do. Great questions at every table today. We thank you for that. As everyone has said before me, we have these kids are amazing. They know so much, and they're so interested in what's going on. I always tell them, and I've spoken to several graduations, that listen, I know you've got a lot to do in your life when you move forward, but come back home if you can. Live here. There's a lot going on. This is a wonderful place to live, work. I grew up here, been here all my life, went off to college, came back, and proud to be here, and want to stay and want to keep moving forward with what we have in this community. We have so much to be thankful for here. So appreciate that. Commissioner, thank you for putting this together. I know you and I were at the college when we had some discussions where it came from, and it was a great idea, and I'm glad we did this today. So anything we can do anytime to make it move forward and help in any way, please let us know. So thank you, Brian. Thank you, sir.
You are blessed to have this many folks representing all of Caldwell County in one room. Mayor Setzer from Acacia's Mountain.
Well, I don't think I can add to what everybody said, but one thing I've been impressed with is every table I've sat down with, and I haven't got to meet you all, is everybody is interested in community service in the future, whether it be town council, county commissioner, whatever, and leadership is something that sometimes you don't see it coming. I've shared with several that, and I don't think it's just exclusive to Acacia's Mountain. You have very few people attending your council meetings. But if you're interested in serving, then you can make a bigger difference than you ever can imagine. I know that's one reason I've been around as long as I have. Donnie Potter and I are good friends, and he knows I worry him to death because sometimes you can't do stuff alone as at the level I do with just a town. And sometimes you got to reach above, and if you get into community service, you learn that. And I've dealt a lot with Donnie and Donald and the other commissioners. Destin Hall has helped us tremendously. He's gotten us a lot of money for some sewer projects. I'm friends with Virginia Faulkner, a congresswoman. And in other words, yes, you can make a difference, but it's not sometimes, it's all the time. You've got to work with others and to attain those goals. And I've shared this at several tables. You've heard of preachers being called. I really think for a community service, you've got to be called for that, because at this level, there's sure no money in it, that's for sure. But anyway, it is rewarding, and I hope that what Donnie said was not true. And a lot of folks want to move away from here once they get through with schools, because there's a lot to do around here, and we're making progress, and we're aging out, and you know, we need somebody to carry that torch from this point forward. And I'm so glad y'all are here. I'm so glad the interest you showed, and I just encourage you to stay focused. And if y'all are interested in leadership, there's plenty of avenues for it. And Donnie, like everybody else, I thank you for putting this together.
Chairman Warner, you have an opportunity to tell these kids how this day went for you.
This is awesome, Mayor. I've never done this before. I mean, I appreciate this. I hope it continues. I hope we have another. I had an awesome time. I'm a part-time truck driver trainer, teach over here at Caldwell, and these guys, some of them want to be a truck driver, I think. I know these guys' grandpas. I know Cindy, I've got a cousin somewhere, Cindy Warren. Anyway, I had a blast. I hope we do it again. Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it.
Dr. Phillips, would you like to wrap us up?
I just want to echo and say thank you. For me, it's a little bit different. You all have things that you're excited about, that you want other people to experience, and you hope they're excited about it too. Well, I was excited because I had a chance to show our students what our elected officials and some of our leaders in government have to offer. But what I was really excited about was allowing the adults to come in and get a chance to interact with our students, because our students are wonderful, and I can say that, but until you've sat down and interacted and been involved in conversations, you don't realize just how great things are. So we're going to wrap things up. We're going to take feedback about how today went. I do want to ask Donald Duncan, where did he end up at? Donald, you want to say something? Donald's
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Donald's our county manager, and he and I worked together to try to make the vision that Donnie had come to life. But thank you all. I know it's Friday. For the adults that are in the room, if you have time, right now at Brighton High School, we've got Special Olympics going on. Maybe one of the best events that we do all year long, and if you have an opportunity to drop by there, we appreciate it. We thank Living Hope. We thank everybody involved in this to get it taken care of, and thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, guys.